Hi, and welcome back to Darrinbernardspoorboycrafts. Continuing with the D&D theme, we're going to be making a few things here today. About how many times, you being a DM, you tell your people they go into town, and the first place you want to go is a message board. Well, trying to find a message board in the game town, at your game shop, they don't carry that a lot. So that's what we're going to make today. We're going to make it a message board out of pretty much styrofoam. Your styrofoam boards here got the paper taken off of both sides. The only things you'll need with tools, these three things here, which you can get every bit of this at Dollar Tree. We'll also be using some moss, which you can get at Dollar Tree. It's called reindeer moss. The paints you can get at Dollar Tree. Of course, I use the Walmart colors, which are the apple barrel most of the time. So, but we'll be using them collars to collar it, and tongue depressors. Now, these are kind of hard to come by. Sometimes Dollar Tree carries them, sometimes it don't. But if you can't find these, you can always use popsicle sticks, which they always have them at Dollar Tree. So, but I'm using these because you use less of them. So first thing you're going to have to do is you need to cut this. And the easiest way to cut it is with your knife here. You just come down like that. It doesn't have to be perfect, really. I mean, like I said, it's your craft. You do it any way you want to. But just score it 2 or 3 times, and it'll break. Then you just clean it up with your knife, and be careful. Your knife is sharp, so be very careful with that. But you just clean her up there real good. And then you can measure them out if you want to. About 2.5 inches will be fine. I mean, I can make a mark on a pencil, and that's about 2.5 inches. Let's see how good I am. See if I can mark it just right. Well, I marked it just a little over 2, so we're going to go to the 2.5. So, but about there. I mean, you mark it there, and then you just do the same thing you did on the end there. You just score it 2 or 3 times. Write down your mark. Snap it. And then clean it off. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You're dealing with wood and all that. Now you're going to do about 3 of these things. About 3 is all you're going to need. About like that. Okay. That's the first thing you're going to do. We'll just set that aside. Next thing we're going to do, you need some heavy, thick styrofoam, which I get this 2-inch stuff. I get this at Carter Lumber by the 8-foot sheet. Now, finding it any littler, it's almost impossible. But this will run you about $40 a sheet. But all in all, that equals out to about 50 cents for this little piece here. I've done the math on it. It's about 50 cents for this little piece here. But for this one, you're going to need a longer blade. And again, be very careful. Now, you want about a 3/4 inch cut. Approximately. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Coming down that right there. Oh, that was too thin, though. Let's try that again, because we want it to be all the way down. Like I said, sometimes you make mistakes. You just keep on going. You don't have to be perfect. I just think I just cut myself. Nope, no blood. We're good. Okay, now that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Like that one better. But we can do this. We can use this. I'm going to cut this about 3 inches. Ha! Now that I got right on the money. That's a little bit above, so we're going to trim that off. Okay. Now we're going to cut these down to about 1/4 on either side, making just a little square block. Might be able to get 2 out of this one, because I like this size better. If I can get this perfect, we should be good. See, that's perfect right there. And that's close to perfect. These other ones, a little small, but that's okay. We'll close the blade up, set it aside, set your other blade aside for right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to score them to make them look like trees, like bark. Using your wire brush, which you can get at Dollar Tree. Score it all the way down it on both of them. That way you'll be able to see the grain. Once you paint this, it'll shine out really good. Now you take the top. You don't have to do both sides, but at the top, we're going to take a pencil. Then we're going to draw, pushing down heavy so that it makes the indentation of like a tree. Do the same one here. Perfect. Okay. Now, we're going to take this here and these two pieces, and we're going to pre-paint them black. Remember, that's your first color you'll want to do, because that covers everything. And I have a few over here already done that they're sitting and drying, so we'll go ahead and use them. Got a little bit longer on that to dry, and we got these right here. But we can actually work with these. They're still a little wet, but we can actually work with that. Now we're going to use our handy little gun here, our glue gun. Put a little bit of glue on that, and we're going to set it right there. We might end up only having to use 2 of these right here, but we shall see. We'll see how it turns out. Let that dry real good. Still ain't wanting to dry, but that's okay. We'll hold it. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I just glued it to one side, and when I put the other one on, I put a small bit of glue down the center and then glued it to the other side. Now that's pretty sturdy. So now we're going to glue the bottom of them where there is no paint. And we're going to kind of put it catty corner on our little base here. Okay, give that a little bit of time to dry. And while it's drying, we're going to kind of cut this, kind of make it more kind of beautify it a bit. Let's try not to make it too square. Like I said, it doesn't matter how you do it. It's your, it is your craft, so you do it any way you want to do it there. But that's got it looking pretty good. Now what we're going to do, there are some places that are not covered with paint. We're going to go ahead and take the black paint and paint over the entire thing. Okay, we got her on there, and it's mostly dry. So the top part is anyway, and that's the main important thing, because we want to paint it now. The bottom, it's still a little wet, but it's got a little bit longer to dry, so we won't be dealing with it right yet. So we're going to take, I'm using a nutmeg brown, which I get by the big jugs because I use a lot of it, but I only paid like $3 for it. So, I mean, like I said, I try to do everything as cheap as possible. I mean, you can get just a little one like this for 50 cents of nutmeg brown, but that looks really good. Nutmeg brown looks really good for wood. Let's paint it right over top. Uh-oh, wasn't dry. Or that, or I put it in the wrong paint. Make sure you dip it in the right paint. I got my black and my brown right beside each other. Yeah, that was dry. I just stuck the paint brush in the wrong paint. That's okay. We'll let that go lighter or darker color there. Still a little wet at the bottom, but we can work with this. We're going to make it multicolored anyway. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Looking good. Just put a lot of, if you think it ain't dry, give it a couple more minutes. And if it, if you're in a hurry or whatever, just put a lot of paint on your brush. And it'll keep your color the way you want it to. See how well them circles turn out in the top there? Beautiful. Now, if you want a couple steps back, you can take an embroidery file and file down the edges to make it look old, like older wood. You know how it's, but it's not needed, but you can do that. But like I said, this is your craft, and you do it the way you want to do it. I'll give you the ideas and, the short way of doing it, and you can put as much time or effort as you feel like doing. I mean, as a DM, you're kind of stressed for time a lot of times. But if you take about 20 minutes out of your day, you can make some really good stuff. You don't have to buy it. I mean, you could probably get something like this and buy it, but I'm building this whole thing, and it ain't going to cost maybe $1 altogether with all the stuff I'm putting into it. So, real cheap, real easy. Initially, if you ain't got the stuff, you might have to spend about $10 for all the equipment. But again, you'll be able to reuse a lot of it because you're not going to use it all on this. So, there we go. We'll let that dry for a little bit, and then we'll be back. Okay, now, she's pretty well dry now. Got a little bit of wetness to it, but that's all right, because now I'm going to go with a granite gray. Now, this is going to be tricky. So what I'm doing is I put a little bit on the brush and dab it off, because I don't want a lot of gray on here. I just want to discolor the wood. So I'm going to take a lot of that gray off. But I just want to change the color just a hair bit. Just a hair bit. Let's see if I can get a good patch on there. Beautiful. See how that did that? Just changed it just a little bit. Gives it a weathered look. Gives it a weathered look. And like I said, I'm using granite gray, but you can use any type of gray you want. I mean, it'll work its way in there. Beautiful. And I'll do the same for the real wood, as we can call it here. Oh, too much gray. It's okay. Put some brown on top of that as well. Beautiful. There we go. The brown still shows through, but you got some weathering there. Now, just a hair bit on the brush for the back side. Sometimes it's hard to get it just right, so I'll dab it down in water. Put a little bit of brown back into that. There we go. Then that gives me the color I want. I just want it lightly gray. Okay. So now I'm going to set that down right here. We can let that dry. While that's doing that, we're going to open our reindeer moss. Now, the reason why I like reindeer moss is because you can take some of it. Now, first of all, the rest of this we'll put back for another thing. So we can take this and we can actually glue this like that, and it'll stand up like a bush. So now, being very careful, put a generous amount of hot glue on there. And just stick her right close down. Being careful not to get anywhere near the glue. It'll take care of its own. Again, on the other side, we're going to take another bunch together. And I'm going to slap that on just like that. Let it dry. See how that creates a bush there? Now, the reason why I added this before I painted the bottom, because the glue will shine out if you don't. So, I mean, I do a few things a little different, but, you know, to each their own. I mean, if you want to paint it first and then glue everything on, more power to you. Like I said, I just give you the ideas, and you can go about it as you see fit. Now, I'm going to use what's called Christmas green. There's a lot of other colors. You got marsh green and you got Kelly green. I think the Christmas green really will shine a little bit. See if I can find an empty spot here. There we go. That shines a little bit. And I think it'll be a good color. Like I said, you can just use regular green if you want to, because basically it's... Now on this one, you got to be careful. You want to stay away from the pole. See, when I painted the pole, I got brown all over the place. That didn't matter none. There we go. And we're not going to put this one really thick either. We'll let that black shine through. You know, it gives it more depth. I mean, you can overpaint something, you know. We're not going to do that. And I ain't worrying about the sides either, because, you know, that's all part and parcel. But want to get this topped really well. There we go. And just like that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful. Now on this larger side over here, I am going to do a little dab of green or brown on my brush, and I'm just going to dab it. It gives the appearance of sandy little, you know, path that someone might have walked in on. Kind of knock down the grass. There we go. Now, if you want to, you don't have to. You can add more things, like some rocks. You know, for this, all you have to do is just put a dab of glue on the bottom. Just a slight dab. Put a rock here and there. Or some more ingenuity there. Or you can make little signs, you know, wanted signs, wanted posters, job signs. Just make these out of paper, kind of curl up the ends a little bit. When I was a DM, I like to freak them out. I say you'd find a wanted poster, or not a wanted poster, but a job offer that says Barbarians Wanted. Only true D&D players will understand that joke. Barbarians can't read. They're illiterate. But it's fun. But yeah, we'll throw a couple of them on there. A couple, three of them right on the signpost. And that is a signpost for you. If you like what you see, hit that like button. Remember, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We want to try to grow this channel. And but most importantly, I hope you enjoyed the craft, and I hope you see you next time. Till then, have a good day.